Hello and welcome to a new edition of Bengal Magazine. I'm Jeff Ventura. On today's show, we'll talk playoff men's basketball with head coach Fajri Ansari and sophomore forward Justin Mitchell. Then we'll jump in the pool with first-year head coach Dan Allen and one of his senior swimmers, Nate Steger. And we'll wrap it up talking spring sports with women's lacrosse coach Meg Stevens and senior midfielder Molly Seifritz. When we come back, we'll hit the hardwood talking about playoff men's basketball. Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. Our first segment today, we're joined by head men's basketball coach Fajri Ansari, sophomore forward Justin Mitchell. Guys, welcome aboard. Fresh on the heels of a 75-56 SUNY quarterfinal victory last night against Cortland. Bengal's first playoff victory since winning the league championship back in '03. Congratulations to you guys.
Thanks.
Faj, take us back a little bit to last night's game. Fast start, 12-0, I think, before Cortland recognized the game had started, and then the rest of the way through the game.
Well, it was great to get a good start. Playoff games are always tough. It was a few years ago, of course, and only had a couple of players on the team. Remember when we got upset by Cortland a few years ago, and that was kind of in the back of my mind. So I was happy to get a good start, knowing that even though we beat them twice, and I felt, good about our chances, but, playoff ball is always different from regular season. And our guys was ready. They was ready to come out and play.
Always a tough matchup, kind of conflicting styles there. But I think it was a matter of who imposed their will, and obviously a 12-0 start kind of took care of that. Justin Mitchell, 15 points, 7 rebounds last night, big part of the win. What was the feeling of the team heading into the game and then with the victory?
We knew we could win this game, especially in practice, going over our defense, and he had the digital reports on them saying that they only shot on the right side, and we knew their plays, so once they ran the play and called the play, we were able to jump out on it and then start fast breaks. I think the main reason we won was because of our defense in the first half. Even though we didn't do so good in the second half, I think first half defense.
32-16, I believe it was at halftime. So when you limit a team to 16 points in men's basketball, you've got a good shot. 9th straight victory for the team, longest winning streak for the school in 16 years. What changed? What sparked this run for the Bengals?
I wish I had a direct answer to that, but I don't. We have been fortunate in playing some close games. I think we've been tested quite a bit. We had 5 overtime games this year, 2 of them in double overtime. And even our non-league games, we had a couple of really tough tests. So I think that prepared us when we got into some tough situations. So once we saw that we can win the close games, I think that kind of built the momentum. The last loss we've had was actually at Oswego, where we headed for the playoffs, and left a kind of bad taste in our mouth because we really felt we had a chance to win that game. So we've been kind of building from there and looking ahead, just to get to this point where we're at now.
I think a big part, it's fair to say, of kind of sparking this change has been the play of the guy sitting next to you. Sophomore season, a strong year last year, really as a supporting player. Now, kind of stepping into more of the starring roles. 6 double-doubles, 14 points, 8 rebounds a game. Reigning SUNY Player of the Week, and I want to go back to last week a little bit. 3-win week, probably the biggest of those. Catapulted us into second place, an overtime win over Plattsburgh. By 1 in overtime, game-winning layup with 4 seconds left. 21 points, 13 rebounds in that game. And you lost a tooth earlier in the game. Talk about take us through that game a little bit.
Well, we were in our 55 defense, and I'm pressuring the ball, and the point guard, he's dribbling up the middle, and I go to trap, and he swings his elbow and knocks my tooth out. And as soon as I got hit, I was like, oh man, like my tooth is going.
I just walked almost out to Grant Street after the play.
I felt the wind like hitting my tooth, and I was like, this can't be happening. I happened to look into the mirror by the door where I happened to walk to, and my tooth was just gone. But it was still in my mouth, like the tooth. I just had to take it out and then gave it to Sal. He kept it, and then had to go to the dentist the next day. Got it fixed.
The dentist, Dr. Dan Houston, assistant men's hockey coach. He does great work. And then coming back into that game like a hockey player, coming back from injury and playing the starring role in overtime. Talk a little bit about that winning basket.
Well, when my tooth got knocked out, my first intention was like to just sit on the bench, but then after a while I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Like I gotta play because we don't really have any other big men except for Ahmed. But I was like, yeah, I have to get in. And the game winning shot, after they hit a shot, coach always tells us to outrun the big men. So after the shot went in, I just like, all right, I gotta get down there, get in position. Hopefully they'll see me. And as I was running, Norm happened to see me and he threw it to me, and I just went up with the layup, hoping to get a foul, but wanted to make the layup first.
Yeah, Plattsburgh hits a bucket with 8 seconds left to take the lead, and
yeah.
4 seconds later, you knock it down, and we win the game by 1 in overtime, again, clinching that number 2 seed. And now Friday, here comes Plattsburgh again. A week after seeing them, we play them in an even more meaningful game now, the SUNY semifinals. What does Plattsburgh bring to the table?
Well, first of all, they're defending champions, and they are experienced. They have 4 seniors returning starters. They did not have the season that most people would expect them to have, but come playoff time, they've been there. So that's an advantage they're going to have with the experience. I think we'll be ready for the challenge, though, again, because we've had some tough battles all through the year, and our games with Plattsburgh over the last 5-6 years always seem to come down to the wire. So we're looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge, and you know, I think it'll be a good game.
Unlike the Buffalo State-Cortland matchup, we're pretty like styles with Plattsburgh and match up fairly evenly, probably across the board. Not to tip your hat too much, but what do you hope to see out of your team in a game against a team like Plattsburgh?
We're going to have to be a little more consistent. We're going to have to play tough defense, and we're going to have to get out and run. I think we can force Plattsburgh into some turnovers, and if we do that and capitalize and just not commit too many turnovers on our end, that's how we were able to beat them the last time. We had a close game up at their place. It was a little tough because we were just coming off that road trip to Potsdam the night before, and we were down by like 13 or 15 points at halftime, and we came back and got the lead. But you know, we pretty much ran out of gas. But I think we're prepared. Everybody's kind of back now and healthy, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's a great opportunity for us, and we feel we have a chance to, you know, to beat anybody in the conference, and we just want to put ourselves in a position to do that. So we'll be up for it. Okay. 19-6 now, so heading into the semifinals on Friday. Oswego hosts the Final Four. You win that. Oswego Brockport winner in the championship game on Saturday at 4. What's the limit for this team? Going into the beginning of the year, I thought we were probably about a year away because we were still kind of young. We only had 1 senior in experience, but then there were times, even during the early part of the season, I said we have a chance, you know, to do it. We can actually win it this year because we can play with anybody. The conference has been very, very tough. You know, it's a matter of who is on. You know, because any given night in our league, you know, one team could beat another team. It doesn't really matter what the record is. So. I think people are conscious of us. We're probably a little more of an underdog, but I like that position, and I think we have a good chance. As the number 2 seed, a bit of an underdog because of the youth. We've been talking all season about the youth. By this point, Justin, 25 games into the season, your sophomore year, just 1 senior on the team. Is there youth, or what's the mindset of the team heading into this semifinal?
Well, we always talk. Even coach brings it up. Like anything less than a championship now is just a waste of a season. Like we have to win the SUNY, and we want to get to NCAA, but we don't want to just get there. We want to actually win it. We don't want to just say, oh, you know, we made it. So what? We want to actually try to win the whole thing. And having a young team is kind of good, but then again, it hurts us because of the experience. But it shows that the future will be better. Like you see players improving, and you know next year they'll be better than what they were this year. So. I think we have a good chance. Definitely looks like things are shaping up. Climbed into the regional rankings. I know you mentioned last week. So NCAA is on the horizon. Obviously, you know the SUNY championship comes with an automatic berth to the NCAA championship. So, good luck to both of you on Friday night and hopefully on Saturday afternoon as well. Thanks for taking the time out and get back to practice. I do want to say one thing. I want to thank our fans who've been great all year. Even the last couple of road games to Fredonia and Brockport, I think they were very instrumental in us winning those games. So I just want to, you know, thank our Buff State fans. They've been great, and
they surely helped us out.
It is a great atmosphere in the sports arena with those wooden bleachers. They could make some ruckus in there, and the orange hard hat crew last night got things going a little bit, and was riding Cortland's bench. Definitely had an outcome in the game. Guys, again, thank you and good luck this weekend. When we come back, we'll jump in the pool with head coach Dan Allen and Nate Steger. In this segment, we're joined by end of the first year, head swimming and diving coach Dan Allen, along with a senior swimmer, Nate Steger. Swimming season in the books now, and a successful one at that. 21 new school records set this season. The women improved 1 place in the SUNY standings. The men climbed all the way to 5th place. Best finish since '02. One swimming resource out there, user computer program, says Buffalo State's the most improved swimming program in Division III this season. Quite an accomplishment in 1 year of work. Talk about entering the season, your expectations, and then how things played out and what went right for the Bengals this season.
Thanks, Jeff. Entering the season, obviously, I got a late start. I wasn't brought in here until pretty much the late of August. So starting was, pretty scrambling, let's put it that way. My expectations coming in, obviously, was to change the culture at Buffalo State. And, starting off, it was pretty rough. I had a lot of swimmers interested on both sides. I had probably about 25 on both sides, roughly about 50 swimmers coming in. And I'll tell you right now, in the first couple of weeks, we lost a lot of swimmers. And throughout the season, I lost about half my roster, okay? And to do that was a culture change. But I started to notice, throughout the season, when we started hitting times and just seeing the change in the swimmers, believing. That's the biggest part about it, believing in the coaching staff and believing in one another. Once they took that step, then we moved forward, and I'll tell you right now, they exceeded my expectations. I thought we could break a couple school records coming into the season, but I didn't think 21. So they exceeded my expectations, and obviously having that title of most improved is something I'm advertising to recruits right now, and the iron's hot right now, so I'm trying to do my best with recruiting and trying to gain the program some more recognition, and obviously next year I want to set the bar even higher and break more school records and move up the SUNY ladder.
I think 21 is incredible, especially since a lot of those faces were swimmers who were here last year.
Correct.
One of the things you mentioned, you started the year with 50 swimmers. You may have started the year with 50 kids who swim. I think you retained your swimmers, and that panned out at championships. Yeah. Joining you is Nate Steger, a senior who just wrapped up your collegiate career in style. One of 2 all-SUNYAC performers, new school record holder in the 200 fly, 200 and 400 IM, and part of the 2 and 400 medley relays. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did the season go the way you expected it to?
In the beginning of the season, just like Coach said, we had a lot of swimmers here, and as a team, I thought we could have done a lot of damage in the SUNYAC conference at the meet. And then as teammates started to fall off the bandwagon there, we held together as a team. And for the swimmers that we had there, I thought we did tremendous. And but individually, I was happy with how I performed. And I kind of thought I could have done a little bit better, but I was very happy with what I did. So,
on the podium, is obviously an accomplishment. You talk about team, and it's an interesting conundrum kind of with these individual sports. Are they individual sports? Are they team sports? And I know Dan has preached team since he came on board. How have the swimmers themselves embraced that idea? We share the locker room with you guys, the faculty and staff. It seems like there's a real team bond.
Oh, absolutely. I think the sport of swimming is both, because I just love it how it's more individual with yourself. You're trying to beat yourself. You're trying to get the time. You're trying to better your time. And then it's a team because you need your teammates to all perform at their potential in order to get where you need to be as a team overall, because we are judged as a team. So,
the recruiting part is the other piece. Here's your chance. Any high school swimmers out there watching right now, give us your best sales pitch. Why should they look at Buffalo State?
I think Buffalo State is a quality swimming program, and it has the majors here that a lot of the kids that I'm recruiting. And I think, one thing that was missing was the tradition and pride here. And, I know they had it in the late 70s, a little bit, in the late 90s when Paul was here. But now I think the tradition is back. And that's something I'm going to sell on, is the tradition. Be proud of it being a Bengal. and we can be competitive in the SUNY conference. I think, the last couple of years, I think a couple of, swimmers and even coaches, didn't think Buffalo State can be competitive. And that's something I'm going to tell is you can be competitive. And, moving forward, what I want to do is obviously bring in more athletes like a Nate Steger, a Kyle Salyer, or even a Rob Erickson, and show the results that we did at SUNY so that kids can believe that, what, if you're a fast swimmer, you don't have to be, mediocre, or if you're mediocre, we've developed some great kids here, and hopefully for the future, this will go well with our recruiting and kids would want to come here.
About a minute left. I do want to talk to our outgoing senior here. Health and wellness major, going to be wrapping up your degree hopefully in December. Talk about your plans, both professional and swimming, or maybe they're one and the same.
Yeah, the goal right now is to finish a degree. I knew about 3 or 4 years ago that swimming was pretty much what I wanted to do, and then I also want to carry on with coaching. I've been coaching 3 years for the local club team around here, but the goal for me was also to coach college eventually. But swimming-wise, as an athlete, I don't think I'm finished. I'm just too competitive of a person, whether it's to swim masters or just swim on my own. But I'll be in the pool testing myself all the time.
That's one of the great things about your sport. It can definitely be a lifelong pursuit. Guys, thank you for coming on. Nate, good luck with the rest of your academics and your future endeavors. And Dan, get out there and find some more swimmers to be the most improved team again next year and compete for a conference championship. So guys, thank you and good luck in the offseason. Up next on Bengal Magazine, we'll bring in women's lacrosse coach Meg Stevens along with senior midfielder Molly Seifritz to talk a little spring sports and women's lacrosse.
Today we're with Brendan from track and field. Brendan, what motivates you?
Well, what really motivates me the most, as in, for track, would have to be, watching Olympic athletes compete, like Tyson Gay, and my favorite would have to be Allison Felix.
Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. We're in winter season championship time, but the sun's shining today, so we're starting to think about our spring sports as well. Welcome to Meg Stevens and Molly Seifritz from our lacrosse program. Little history lesson on the women's lacrosse program for those who don't know. The program started in '94 and took some time to really get going. In fact, 8 wins in the first 9 years. Now the team's won 75 games since '03 when you took over. 3 straight trips to the SUNY playoffs. National top 25 rankings, really each of the last 3 years we've been in and out of that top 25. Several regional players, all region players, and 1 All-American. How did it happen? There were people who said, I don't know if women's lacrosse is a sport that can go at Buffalo State, and now we're a perennial power in the conference and region.
Belief. It's belief in something that you're building. I've been very, very lucky to have a wonderful group of young women throughout the years. Starting during my first year, just young women that kind of bought in and really said, I don't think we can, I know we can. And we've just had no barriers. We really do like being the underdog. I sell the fact that we're the underdog. We're the team that's not supposed to win in the top 25, and we've had a lot of fun doing that.
I think one of the cool pieces is you see teams every once in a while pop up. They get that key recruiting class, and that hasn't been the case here. It's been a kind of a progression up the ladder, and it's feeding from the freshman class in. Still a fairly young team, actually, in a lot of key positions heading into 2011. Talk about the goals heading into this season a little bit.
We're excited. It's another great year. We have a really, really good group. We have a bigger roster size than we have in a number of years, and that's always nice. I think rosters hurt us in years past just with not enough numbers. But coming into the year with 22 players, 23 really on the team, and it's been really, really good. They really want to work hard. I think the biggest changes we've seen in the last few years in particular is the drive always used to come from me and from a coaching staff, and now the drive is from within. And when you get that creates that next level. That creates now consistency, and we've really found that it's now the players driving it. It's players like Molly that have really taken this program to the next level. Even after fall practices or whatever else they're running as extra stuff and getting in the gym and always working hard. And I think what's impressive here is even other coaches commenting on how much they see my players in and around and always working and always doing it. And that's not coming from me, that's coming from them.
I think winning is obviously contagious, and when you're concerned about winning rather than playing time, it really transforms a team. Fifth-year senior, 2009, tough year with the knee injury, but then back last year, a bounce-back season, all-SUNY performer, one of just 9 players in school history with 100 career points. You've really been here to see a lot of this transformation. Talk about how the program has changed in your time with the Bengals.
Starting as a freshman, we didn't make it to SUNY, and every year we kind of build up from that. So I think every year we learn from our mistakes, and we've kind of just worked on what we need to work on every year. And this year we're really working on pushing each other in practice, and the harder we work in practice, you know, the easier and more fun games are going to be. And I think that's really our mentality this year, is to push each other. We can go that one extra step.
Now the spring sports are a little bit different creatures. The fall sports come in, they practice for a week and a half, and bam, they're starting to play their games. Spring sports, on the other hand, you've got 4 or 5 weeks of practice in the fall, 1 day of play day, but not real games, and then you start practicing it in January, and there's snow on the ground outside, and you're in the gym, and first games don't start till March. What do you do to keep the kids engaged and keep the kids moving forward when the monotony of practice can sometimes creep in?
It's hard. It's never easy. It's not easy from a coaching staff perspective. It's not easy from a player's perspective. You've got so many things to work on, and I think a lot of planning goes into pre-practice planning. So what do we need to do in 6 weeks? And really, I think a lot of times they think of it as a really long time, and I look at it as we need to have so much in before you even start. There's not a whole lot of time between games to make a whole lot of changes. So the mentality you come into that first 6 weeks with is really kind of, you need to teach it and they need to get it. But it is that push yourself, because you can kind of go through that first 6 weeks or first 5 weeks and just kind of, what are we doing day after day? Or you find a real way to make it competitive, and I think that's been the big push this year. I've also always tried to institute some other things to really kind of keep their brains kind of going, and some other team stuff. I'm a big pusher of team and a big pusher of family. And some of those outside things you do. This year we brought in a company called The Program for a two-day workout with the girls, and really kind of some things that we wanted them to really get, and some motivation. And then we just got back from our annual team camping trip. So there are things that we do that really kind of outside the court. For me, it's the lacrosse is kind of the extra piece. I think if you've got teams that get along well off the field, then that on the field stuff will be benefited. So we take some time to do that.
Where is the mindset of the players right now? I assume you're itching to play, but how, on the heels, you just returned from camping last night. Coach Stevens came into my office at 9 o'clock last night, reeking of campfire. So talk about, where's the mindset of the players right now?
I think we know that we're 2 weeks away, and this is crunch time. We really need to start having more intensity in practice, and having that motivation that we do have a game in 2 weeks, and we want to win a SUNY championship this year, and we really need to push each other to do well.
A little bit of interesting schedule, a different type of schedule for us this year, geography-wise, and starting games a little bit earlier. Talk about the 2011 schedule.
I've always done my schedule a little bit differently. I think a lot of college programs say, here it is, and here it is kind of every year. And I think the players get used to, here's who we're going to play, and da-da-da. And we've got a few partner schools where I do like playing them year after year. They seem to be a good mix. And then I really like mixing it up. I like teams that we've never seen before, teams out of region, that we've never even heard of before. And I think they do a little bit less web surfing and who are these people, and they worry more about themselves. And when I looked at this year, it was not talking about other teams. We're not talking about other teams this year. We're talking about us. Can we be the best team we can be? And I think when a schedule looks the way it does this year, 3 teams in California, kind of a 2-day tournament out in Adrian, Michigan, you kind of get that. We're worried about us. We're not going to obviously do a whole lot of scouting for California teams or for teams out in Michigan. We're going to be the best we can be. And I think when a team really gets that we instead of everybody else, then that's a good plus. So we try to build our schedule accordingly. And
of course, those California teams, we're playing them out in California.
Yep.
Talk about the excitement around that upcoming trip.
We have a countdown and everything. We're all really excited.
So, and that's one of the key things when you come to recruiting, I'm sure as well. And you've gone to a few exotic places, but again, this season's just around the corner now. you can smell gameplay now. So I'm excited for you. Good luck with the last couple weeks of practice. I'm sure you have some systematic things that you still need to work in.
We do.
So good luck on that front, and good luck when the season gets going here in March. And hopefully we'll be talking championship season again come May. So good luck to both of you. Thanks for coming on. That'll do it for this edition of Bengal Magazine. Thanks to the great staff down here in Instructional Resources, especially Courtney on camera 3 today. We'll see you again in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.